Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to try something a little different this time. I want to talk about some figures here that wouldn't necessarily get their own videos, but I do want to share my thoughts with them with you. So this video is going to be about these figures right here. I hope you'll stick around and hear what I have to say. Okay, so just like I mentioned in the intro, I wanted to just talk about some of these figures that I have here. These are figures that I've opened off camera. I do, obviously I open up a lot of figures, but I don't do a video about all of them. And I did want to do one about these though. These are all really good figures, and I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. I'm sure some of you have some of these figures, or maybe you're possibly thinking about getting some and you'd like to see them a little bit more close up. So that's what this video is going to be about. Just some of my thoughts on these figures and, my likes and dislikes. And I thought it'd just be a good conversation piece. So let me know in the comments below if you have any of these, if you're thinking about getting any of these. Let me know if I missed something, because I know I'm not perfect, and I don't, sometimes I miss, an accessory here, or articulation here, or put a helmet or a hood on backwards, or whatever it might be. Just let me know. All right, so the first figure I want to talk about is this guy right here. I tried my best to open the package without messing it up, but then on the other side I accidentally scratched it up. I did talk about this card back in the Destro video that I recently did. If you haven't checked that out, please do. But I want to talk about this guy, Ramar, or Remar. First off, I shouldn't like this figure as much as I do. He's got two big things going against him, which is things that I typically don't collect. One is he's not realistic looking. He obviously is right out of the cartoon. So you can see, as compared to these guys, he's not realistic, and I tend to only typically I like more realistic looking figures. The other thing going against him is he's not a modern articulated figure. He is a modern O-ring, and he does have some added points that the old O-rings did not have. But that being said, I really, really like this figure a lot more than I thought I would, a lot more than I should. I love the size of him. He's about 4.5 inches. You can see he's bigger than these Star Wars figures. He's bigger than this Joy Toy figure. He is a big boy. And the sculpt and everything, I mean, the paint, really good. Again, I shouldn't like this guy. I was thinking of, they say sometimes when you get older that your taste buds change. Like if you didn't like something as a kid, you might like it as an adult. And I'm wondering if I'm kind of going through something like that with my collecting, where I'm starting to become more tolerant and like more figures that typically I wouldn't have years ago. As unrealistic as this guy looks, I still think he fits in. I think my biggest kind of issue that I've had is, because he doesn't have any ankle articulation, I keep wanting to, and no thigh swivel, I keep wanting to kind of change his pose, and you get a lot of articulation, at the upper body, because he does have like a bicep swivel. Even though it's lower, it's just a little above the elbow. And we got that new O-ring, so you get a lot of twist and up, forward and back. So you can get a lot of emotion and posing out of the top of him, but the bottom you don't. So he really does have to keep his legs pretty much flat, or his feet flat and his legs straight down, because there's nothing in the ankle there. Again, that being said, you can still get a lot of poses out of this guy, and he's still really, really good. I don't know. I really don't care for O-rings, but this guy, when I saw him, I knew I needed him, and he's even better than I thought out of package. But he is limited, without the ankle, nothing in the wrist. His head, I think, would turn a lot more, but the hair that he has here sculpted over, it hinders him from doing too many too much turn or up and down or anything. But still a really good figure, really great size. I'm not even bothered by the metal pins that you can see here. And also, I kind of thought too, he has the old style, like G.I. Joe, the 25th anniversary, where they have the thigh screw. And if you have any old 25th anniversary figures lying around, or even classic, Joes, I'm wondering if you could probably, customize this guy and switch out parts just like you could back then. It may be a possibility for some of you customizer guys. But overall, I really, really like this figure. I love the card back. I love the file card, the presentation of the figure, and I really like this figure itself. I actually just ordered the Fatal Fluffy. It finally came up for order on the Super 7 website, so I was finally able to order that. So I'll have that soon. And I don't know how far I'll go with some of these Reaction Plus. Those are really the only two that really look good to me. Besides maybe the Bat, which I think has been sold out for quite some time. But definitely a good figure, and I think one you should consider picking up even if you're a modern, realistic collector like I am. Let's talk about this guy now since he fell over and he's kind of right here in my hand now. This is a Joy Toy Corvus Belly Infinity Yu Jing Shang-Chi Invincibles. Now, I did pick this up off of Amazon, and I was enabled by Pirates of the Galaxy. Shout out to Pirates of the Galaxy. He's talked about these figures in several videos. I think he's been customizing them. He's been using them a lot, and he mentioned what a good deal they are right now on Amazon. I think I got this guy for $25, which is pretty good price for a Joy Toy figure of this quality. He did come with multiple sets of hands. He does come with 2 pistols, a sword, and a rifle working holster here. I guess a QC issue for this one, though, right in the box when I opened it, this shoulder pad was already off, and it will not stay on. It's probably something I would have to glue, but you can see it just popped off, and it won't stay on, and it wasn't on when I opened the box. It was already loose in the box at the bottom. But otherwise, really good figure, good size. This is a modern figure again, so total articulation. You can get this guy in any type of pose that you want. Tons of paint, tons of sculpt. It does make me want some more of these guys, but I don't know if I'll build out another army. One of the other things I really like about this one too is the yellow. Don't have a lot of things with yellow represented in my collection. So this guy just kind of pops because there's just I don't really have this color anywhere in my collection except for here and there, a stripe of yellow on the artillery stormtrooper, but an all yellow figure like this, it really sticks out. You can see there a little beady green eye. I'm not sure if there's a guy in this, if this is a suit or if this is some kind of android or robot, but very cool figure. Almost has these like blade jetpack. See a little more green highlights in there. All of this sculpting. Just a really, really good figure. Again, I'm tempted to get some more. I don't know that I will, because this guy does work as a singular character as well in my universe, my head space. Good figure though, really good. You can see all the sculpting there on the boots. Yeah, I'm tempted to get a few more. I don't know that I will. If they get even cheaper in price, I probably will, but I don't know. You can see how nice this sword is. Green energy sword, fits in the scabbard quite well, nice and tight. Cool rifle. Just a really good figure, solid figure. I'm glad I picked him up. Pirates is right. Everything Pirates mentioned about this guy I think is true. If you're a customizer, if you have any other Joy Toy, that's one of the beauties of Joy Toy. They're all mostly compatible with each other, whether it be weapons and accessories or, swapping heads or hands and so on. So good pickup for that guy. Very, very cool. Got him at a good price. Solid figure. Let's talk about these guys now. These are the Hive Fleet Levitan, the Rippers. I did pick these up online. They're about $17 a piece. So they're the same price as a vintage collection figure. These are all very comparable in price because these were 17, these are 17, this is 20, and this guy was 25 on Amazon. So they're right in the price range, him being the most expensive, but these guys here, these four being very, very close, you know. Very cool. These are the number 4 and number 5 of this Hive Fleet Leviathan squad army that I've built. One of the big guys with the swords. I've got 2 of the raptor-like ones that are kind of the medium size, and now I have these 2 small ones. You can see I put the tongue in this one, and I did not in this one. These guys are pretty limited as far as, you know, what you can do with them. They are kind of like slugs. They do come with this really cool stand, and this stand is very versatile. You can get a lot of different poses out of this stand. It's got 1, 2, 3. It's got at least 3 points of articulation. You can turn these guys however you want. It does have a very big open jaw. He does have articulated shoulders and elbows, though the elbow, you don't get too much out of that elbow. And that's pretty much it. The head, the neck is turns really well, left and right really well. You can see there. And he does have, like the others, the wire in the tail. So this is posable. You can see I straightened it out. You can curl it up, twist it over a little bit. So there is a wire in there, so it is posable. But these guys are nice. They're small. They're very compact. It's nice that they come with the stand. Articulated jaw. Again, the only accessory was the stand and the tongue that I put in here. But very cool figures. Very cool. Nice little aliens. Even if you only grabbed 1 or 2 of these, I know they photograph really well. I did photograph the big one on my Instagram page, fighting Count Dooku. So I'll leave a link to my Instagram if you want to check it out. There's a picture of the big guy on there fighting Count Dooku. And these guys are really photogenic because they are really well sculpted, really well painted. See all the rib cage there. It's almost like a crawfish and a slug type demon. Very cool though, very cool paint. Very cool figures. And good price, good price. All right, let's talk a little bit about some Star Wars Vintage Collection. I don't do too much Star Wars Vintage Collection here on the channel. And I've said this before simply because there are so many good Star Wars toy tubers out there. 2 of my favorites are Bosk Bounty and Toys Are the Way. Shout out to them if they're watching. But I did want to talk about these 2. So the new Anakin, this is the brand new Anakin that just came out. This is my favorite look of Anakin, favorite uniform, favorite suit. I do happen to have the older one right here. I do keep this one out because this was one of my favorites because of the outfit. But you can see here the brand new one. Brand new one is a lot bigger. He's just taller, shoulders are wider. He's stockier. And he's got all the modern articulation that this one now is quite dated for his time. This one was very good. I never cared for that hair, that strand of hair right there. But this one was very good for its time. But this one really brings it up to, 2025 standards. The soft goods are better. The articulation is far, far better. He's got the new rocker ankles and the new hips. He did come with an unlit saber hilt and the lit saber. He's got the new ball joint at the waist, so he can get a little bit of tilt, a little bit of forward and back. Not much. Good, very good twist though. It's really the lower body that really sets this guy up, and the soft goods are much, much better than that previous figure. The only criticism I really have of it is I still think they haven't quite got the likeness of Hayden Christensen, the actor that plays Anakin. I think it's still a little bit off. It's not quite perfect, and maybe even the sculpt and the color of the hair is a little bit off. The body, from the neck down. I think it's spot on, perfect. But the head, I think there's a little bit to be desired there. It's not quite as good. It's very good and much better than this one. But I think it's a little bit off, and I think the hair probably should be a little bit darker like this one. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I think. It's still an awesome figure. You know, with all this modern articulation, you can get this guy in such dynamic poses. If you've got a clone army now, you know, with some of the new clones, I mean, the possibilities are endless. This is just a great figure. And my new favorite Anakin, I get him to stand here, is my new favorite Anakin. It's going to be tough to top this one. See, I'm having a little bit of trouble standing him here. Not sure why. But he's really good. Very easily to pose, you know, dynamic. Can almost do anything with him. Just a solid all-around figure. All right, and lastly, let's talk a little bit about Farm Boy Luke from A New Hope. And I'll start out with kind of where I was talking about that Anakin. This head sculpt and the hair, everything, I think this is spot on. I think this is probably the best version of Mark Hamill as Luke that we've gotten. I know some people really like the X-Wing Luke. I think this one's a little bit better. You know, Luke is quite small. He's quite young in this movie. You can see how small he is here compared to these other guys. Really good figure. I didn't know that I wanted this figure. He was not high on my list. In fact, I would have said, you know, if given a choice, I would have picked somebody else, especially someone from the newer media or from the expanded universe. But I understand, you know, the first 3 movies, this guy inspired so many people, so many kids, and he's the hero, you know, so you definitely have to have the hero figure, and he needs to be one of the best ones. And with the new modern articulation, he's got the hips, he's got the ankle, just like that guy. He also has the ball hinge at the waist with that new head and face. This is a must-have figure. Again, it wasn't one high on my list. I really didn't want it. They've got so many Lukes over the years. But I was wrong. I was wrong, guys. This is a great figure. We needed him. Even if I didn't want to, you know, admit it or acknowledge it, you gotta have the hero that started it all. And he needs to be modern. He needs to have, you know, the modern articulation. He needs to have all the modern, you know, pieces in order to, you know, play out the scenes. Now, I don't typically set up my figures. I know a lot of people do, and create the scenes from the movie. And you need this guy for lots of scenes, and we're going to be getting the Cantina HasLab soon. I don't typically do that, though. I have my own world, my own story, so I don't really do that. But this guy was needed, I know, by a lot of collectors in order to create those scenes. And he's in so many in that first movie that it was necessary, more than I would have cared to admit before. But just a solid figure. Very, you know, right now, definitive of its time. This is the best New Hope Luke that there is. Easily, by far and away. Just a great looking figure. You know, easy to pose. It's got everything you need. He did come, I think I mentioned it, with that communicator and the unlit hilt that you can put on the belt, and then of course the lit saber. But great figure. I think all of these are really good figures. I tried to, you know, critique them as best I could, but they are all solid figures, and I think they're all worth picking up if you know, if you're a 118 375 person like I am. So there you go, guys. I wanted to talk about those. I did. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you're going to be picking any of these up. Have you already picked them up? Will you, you know, did I miss something? Let me know if I missed something too. But I really like all 5 of these guys for what they are. They're all worthy of collecting. So that's the video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.